So it's going to be interesting to see how society deals with artificial intelligence, but it will definitely be cool, said Colin Angle, CEO of iRobot. A very good morning to all of you. It's my pleasure to be part of this event and propose the welcome address. On behalf of RMK Engineering College, I wholeheartedly welcome our guest, Mr. Karthik Dathathri, Senior Platform Engineer to Smarsh India Private Limited, Bengaluru, for the generic talk series on Work Smarter with AI, hosted by RMK Engineering College. Thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation and for your gracious presence. A warm
Thank
welcome
you,
to our
ma'am.
respected principal, sir, who has guided us meticulously in all our activities and making the event a grand success. Welcome you, sir. I also welcome all the heads of the departments, Professor of ADS Dr. G. Manikandan, Dr. G. Shobharani, faculty members, and all our dear students. Embracing AI in the workplace can help employees and organizations become more productive and competitive. AI can be used to streamline workflows, automate repetitive tasks, and free up time for more creative work. By embracing AI as a tool and upskilling our workforce, we can usher in a new era of human progress where technology empowers us to build a brighter future for all. I'm sure that this session will be an eye opener for each one of us to adapt to AI in our workplace. Once again, a very warm welcome to our guest today, and it's a great privilege for us to have you here for the Generic Talk series. Now, I request our principal, sir, to felicitate. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
The most respected chief guest of today's generic talk series, Mr. Karthik Dathathri, Senior Platform Engineer, Smarsh India Private Limited, beloved HODs of RMK Group of Engineering Colleges, faculty coordinators, students, and my dear parents. A very warm welcome and good morning to one and all. It's my great pleasure to address in this generic talk series conducted by Artificial Intelligence and Data Science Department of our RMK Engineering College, particularly on behalf of our respected chairman, sir, all the members of the management, faculty members, students, and my own behalf, I wholeheartedly thank and welcome Mr. Karthik Dathathri, Senior Platform Engineer from Smarsh India Private Limited, for accepting our invitation and to deliver a talk, a special talk in this generic talk series 14, organized by our RMK Engineering College. Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir. My dear viewers, the topic is work smarter with AI. So we are all aware that AI is everywhere nowadays. So without AI, definitely we are not going to even implement or improve our performance in our day-to-day activities. But with respect to the today's topic to be delivered by Mr. Karthik Dathathri, it is really attractive and the need of the day, we can say. Work smarter. So we can do smart work, but how to work smarter with using artificial intelligence. Really, I am also eagerly looking forward to hear the address by our chief guest today to get all the techniques to improve our work efficiency and also to improve our performance with respect to all the activities. So once again, I welcome you all, and also I would like to appreciate the sincere efforts taken by AI department and the HOD for organizing this event, particularly in the AI topic itself. So thank you, welcome you all.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I request our Professor Dr. G. Manikandan to introduce the chief guest.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to all. It is my great pleasure to introduce our esteemed chief guest for today, Mr. Karthik Dathathri, a dynamic and results-driven software engineer with an impressive career spanning nearly 25 years. Over the course of his illustration journey, Mr. Karthik has contributed his expertise to some of the most renovated technology products companies, including HP Enterprises, Micro Focus, and Smarsh India. With a lot of experience across a broad range of technology, Mr. Karthik has proven his expertise in the design, development, and migration of software products from Linux into Windows, while also providing operational support for complex enterprises software solution. His extensive knowledge covers legacy expertise, Unix systems such as HP UX, C, C++, RPG-based middleware products, Java, J2E, web-based solutions, and variety of IT infrastructures and cloud-based services. In recent years, Mr. Karthik has extended in a senior platform engineer focus on IT infrastructure, providing and supporting for the DevOps and QA engineering teams. His roles include the development and support for DevOps tools, which have enhanced engineering process and improved team efficiencies. Not only in the rest of his roles, Mr. Karthik has also recently ventured into world AI and machine learning, using this cutting-edge technology to streamline daily tasks and boost them productivity. Academically, Mr. Karthik holds the Master of Computer Science and Engineering from the prestigious NIT Trichy and Bachelor's degree of Computer Science and Engineering from the Madras University. Please join me extending warm welcome to Mr. Karthik, our distinct chief guest for today's event. Now I'd like to hand over the session to Mr. Karthik. Please.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Manikanta. Okay, so I'll share the screen. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Manigandan and other organizing committee members of RMK Engineering College for providing me an opportunity to share my knowledge with all of you on this exciting topic called Work Smarter with AI. As Mr. Dr. Manigandan explained, my career spans around like 25 years in the IT industry. I worked as initially as a software engineer in the product development called a call center middleware product. Call centers were very early at that stage in the early mid 90s. So we were using legacy systems like HP UX, and Windows was like coming up. And primarily the languages were C and C++. Over the period of time, we started working on the other technologies like Java, J2E, and other web-based products. And also Linux was slowly coming up. And with the advent of cloud in the recent last 10, 15 years, it has spanned the enterprise software development has changed. A lot of paradigms has got changed. But still the underlying things are the same. The foundations is the same. Only the methodologies and the tools and developments have got changed. So in this discussion, primarily we are going to focus on how to use AI for the development, the developers and other engineers in the IT industry, how they use the artificial intelligence tools and solutions. So that is what the primary scope of this topic talk is going to be. We'll have a Q&A sessions at the end, so you can post your questions later. So shall we go ahead and start the sessions, madam?
Sure, sir.
Okay, let me share my screen. Is everyone able to view the slide set?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me begin the slideshow. Okay. Okay. So I'll just briefly touch upon what is artificial intelligence and what is generative AI. Then we'll go into the discussions about what are the different types of transformer systems and other things. So generally, if you see AI is the buzzword, and nowadays you can see there are engineering courses which primarily focuses on artificial intelligence and data science and machine learning, unlike the earlier days where there was only computer science and engineering. So that itself shows that how much pervasive artificial intelligence has taken into the computing space. Okay, so what is artificial intelligence? Generally, we know like intelligence means some kind of smart knowledge, right? Knowledge is what like intelligence we call, and use that knowledge to build systems and solutions. So what is artificial intelligence? The name itself says artificial, right? So like how humans used to think intelligent, use their knowledge. If we make the machines, the computing systems to think about automatically and decide upon the solutions or decisions, that is called artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is like making the computing systems or machines to think on their own. So if you see, now it is a buzzword, but artificial intelligence started way back in around 1970s and 80s. So when we were doing the engineering in the late 90s or mid 90s, what happened is artificial intelligence was slowly coming up. We had even a subject called artificial intelligence and expert systems during our engineering course. So during that time, we used to study about like how learning will happen from the machine. So how a human learns. The similar thing, you need to make the machine to be learned, right? So then only you can gain the knowledge, right? So we all study engineering course or various other courses or subjects in the school and college. And over a period of time, we gain the knowledge and expertise on a particular topic or area of interest. So similarly, if you want to make the machines to understand, you need to feed them the data, because machines can understand only zeros and ones, right? Binaries. But we cannot write like binaries and zeros. So that's the reasons of invent of programming languages like C, C++, Java, and other things. So that gets converted into machine code, and then the computer understands, and then it executes the code to generate an application. So similarly, when you want to make the machines to learn, like how similarly a human brain can understand, then we need to design systems which can understand the same way like our human brains. So that's how, if you see, the invention of neural networks came into picture. So neural networks concept is again a sub domain of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So you need to make how the human brains. See, human brain is made of neurons, right? So using the neurons only, the information is transmitted in our brain. So similarly, they started to build software-based neural networks. That was called like in the computer, in the machine. So using that, you feed the data, and the neural networks you make like analyze the data, process the data, and then provide solutions to us. So initially, if you see the computing space itself, because since I'm come from an infrastructure background, we have seen systems like the servers, like the hardware machines which were there earlier. They're not that powerful, right? But over a period of time, the evolution of hardware has changed rapidly. You can see like the Intel processors, which was started from x86 architecture, it went to up to i7, i9, and other hardware called GPUs, graphic processing units. So when the invent of GPUs came into picture, AI leaped more forward into a lot of things, like, so a lot of inventions happened and a lot of computing power has increased. So that also led to what AI is now. So whatever systems we see now is because of the invention of the more computing power. The computing power increases, you can do a lot of things, right? So earlier, if you see like in the early 80s and 70s, there was something called SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, they call SETI. So wherein what happens, right? Each of your computer, like your personal computer, acts like a computer to compute all the calculations to find, is there any intelligence in the extraterrestrial space? So that is called SETI project. So which you can install on your computer locally. And that time internet was not very much boom. but over a period of time, internet boom. So all the computers were being clustered together. So that was called like grid computing and other things, which led later on evolved to the things called cloud computing. Okay, why I'm coming to this cloud computing and other concepts is these are all the invention of all these technologies enabled AI to go to the next level. Okay, so because of without this, it would not have reached like what it was today and the future is. So we have to see like, okay, how the computing power has increased over a period of time in the last 10, 15 years. Okay, so if you see the word, many of you would have heard of the term called chat GPT and you would have used it also. Okay, do you know like what is GPT means? Chat GPT. Chat, we know we used to chat, right? We use like applications like WhatsApp. Earlier, there was something called Yahoo Messenger and other messaging tools were there. So chat is nothing but you communicate with a machine or a system and it gives you some response, right? So this chat GPT and other things were based on a technology called transformer systems. Okay, what do you mean by transformer systems? What do you mean by transformer? The word transformer itself means transform from one form to another form, right? Okay, so basically GPT is nothing but it's called generative pre-trained transformer. Okay, so what is generative pre-trained transformer? So generative means you generate some content based on some already existing data, which is a pre-trained data. So what do you mean by pre-trained data? See, how, as I mentioned, like how the machine learns, you need to give some input to that, right? Without that, the machine cannot learn. See, like how our brains get feeded, we get information sought from books and lectures provided by the lecturers and professors. Based on that information, we assess that knowledge, analyze it, process it, and then we are able to gain expertise on a particular subject, correct? Similarly, this tools like Chat GPT and all need data to be fed to them. So it's like not like one or two data. You need to feed a lot of data, trillions of data. If you mean like it's not like million, it's trillions of data. So what the data could be? It could be books. It could be uh, some data files like everything. Everything you have to give it, feed it to them. So what this tools does is like this transformer systems, it reads the data, analyzes it, processes it using some algorithms, which are called the machine learning algorithms, which uses the probabilistic and statistical methods in the mathematics field, and then generates some content or output to us. Okay, so that is what like the generative pre-trained transformer. As you can see in this slide, it explains like creating text, summarizing information, and translating languages. Okay, and you could have heard this term called LLM. LLM is nothing but large language models. Okay, what this large language models is mainly is it's about text data. Okay, it's not about image or video. Mainly it is text data. See, all these LLM models, large language models, are built using text information. Okay, so you feed them text data to them. It can process it, analyzes it, and then creates a context and then generates an output to you. So that's what it does basically. And GPT, generative pre-trained transformer, is one term of LLM model. Okay, so I say like it says like no, a storyteller. You start writing one line of the story, and then it continues, right? Okay. See, for example, you can say like there was a lion lived in a forest. You start this line. So what ChatGPT gives you is next is you say like, can you narrate the story based on this first line? So what it does, it will analyzes the data what it has already pre-trained, and it will start saying like, okay, in the forest there were other animals like rabbit and other things like that. It starts okay, it narrates a story like that. That goes on. So how it does is how this is being done. So this has been fed with a lot of data from storybooks and other textbooks. So it knows that, okay, there is a forest, there is a lion, this keyword are there. So based on that, it reads the data, whatever it has been fed and trained the data. and then generates a natural language sentence. Correct? But there are instances like where it can be misled also. The information can be misled. We will see like how we generate the prompt effectively so that we can get proper information output from those tools like GPT. Okay. On the other hand, what is BERT? BERT is a different kind of transformer system which uses an auto encoding approach. I won't go into very deep into this technologies because that itself is a separate topic of discussion, which we are not. We'll do it probably in a later session. So BERT is nothing but a kind of transformer system which uses some bidirectional encoding techniques to the data what it has been fed. Okay, so what it says, like, as you can say, like, uh, yeah. Okay, so you can see like context of words in a sentence, making it adapt at deciphering the nuances and meanings of language. And what is nuances, right? Means, see, in any every language, like natural language, like what we speak, like Tamil, English, Hindi, Malayalam, Telugu, there are some nuances to the language, correct? So when you're feeding a text data to those systems, it needs to understand the nuance, like the context of the particular word in a sentence and those things. So that enhancement has been done with the BERT. And Google was the one who pioneered this BERT technology. They started working on it in 2018 and delivered it as an open source project. And since then, there are a lot of variations and enhancements happen to those models. So that is what like GPT and BERT. So we are going to see like, and whatever the prompts we give, right, to all the systems, whether it is ChatGPT or BERT or BARD or you call other models like whatever large language models, the output might come difference because it is because of the pre-trained data, what it has been fed with. Okay, and even the chat GPT, there are different versions of models like 0.3, 0.5 and zero point 0.4 is now available. So there will be some improvements, some bug fixes would have been done, which will like give you better output for the same input also. Okay, so we're not going to like. So in this talk, we'll mostly going to see the chat GPT prompts and those stuff. So let's jump on to the next portion, which is called prompt engineering. Okay, what do you mean by prompt, right? I still remember this word prompt, wherein like in my undergraduation, we started a club called Prompt, or we conducted an event, technical symposium event called Prompt. We gave the name Prompt. So that is very close to us, like the prompt word. So what is mean by prompt? You can see in a Windows system, you open a command prompt, you will see like C drive and then a greater than symbol, right? So that is a prompt, right? So something is prompting for you to give some input to the machine, right? Okay. So there is a lot of things into this prompt engineering itself. See, we see like say, right, we can use chat GPT and feed some information to it and it gives you an output, right? It looks as simple as that. So anybody can use it without even having deep computer knowledge, right? So that's what chat GPT is all about. And that's how it is popular became. But if you do the same search just like that, does it give always a better output? No, right? For an example, take Google search. In the late 90s, only Google came around, I think in the early 2000, Google became popular. Until then, there were search engines, which was called Yahoo, and there was something called Ask Jeeves. I still remember when I joined my first job, there were no search engines or there was no internet is there, but it is very less this thing, like not like now how it is. So in case we want to find some information about some particular tool or technology, we can use the internet, but how to search? There was no Google. Okay, so how do you get information about a particular topic? Say I was working on a C programming project. I had some clarifications. Either I have to follow a book which has some information about it, or else I need to go through some other textbooks or manuals. So at that time in the late 90s, what happened is there was a tool called Ask Jeeves. Okay, it is basically a search engine and similar to Yahoo. Okay, Yahoo and Ask Jeeves were the very popular search engines at that time. So Ask Jeeves, the name itself says, right? Ask Jeeves. The Jeeves is a name like for the tool they developed, and you call Ask. So ask any question to it, it will answer to you. It will give some response to you. So I used to type like, okay, I'm getting this error while compiling a C program, and it will give some vague results. Okay, it will give some C programming links, or there used to be something called news groups. Okay, so the news groups are the ones which focuses on a particular topic. For example, for Unix related questions, you can post a question in that news group, which is called comp Unix programming. And for C language, it was complang.c. Like that. Like no computing means you can have to go to the comp group. Under that, there are languages. Under that, there are C related and C++ like that. There are different groups. Similarly, if you want to ask about general news related topics or political related, you can go to alt.political like that. They have different categories of groups where you can post questions and people who are expert in that field, like what we are seeing now in Stack Overflow and these things. News groups are the pioneer for that particular concept of sharing knowledge with each other, like no each community of the people, the software engineers. So those days, the news groups were the thing. So why I'm going back to the news groups is because now what is prompt engineering is nothing but what we were doing it in the news groups. So we used to post questions. Somebody in the world who see the question and sees there is a relevant answer to that, they will respond to you. But be cautious. You used to get like flames. Flames is nothing but if you don't post a question properly, means you don't post like what you are trying to do. And just like that, you are saying, I'm getting this error. Say, if I say like, I wrote a C program and it's throwing me some error, some compilation error. Okay, I just throw that error. I'm saying like, you don't even say like what you are trying to do, or you don't even post the snippet of the code in that group. You will be flamed, means you will be scolded by the expert in the team. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to fine tune your question. Means you can say like, I am running a so and so program, and this is a function code snippet. You cannot post the whole code because that is legally not right to post your code into the internet forums. So what you can say, like you can write a sample code kind of thing, which says like it takes two inputs. It's a pointer or something like that in the thing. And while trying to access the pointer, I'm getting this error. Something like that you can mention. And it's also good to fine tune your question saying which compiler, C compiler version you are using. Whether it is GNU C compiler or it is HPX C compiler, you have to mention those details as well. So once you give those details, then you will get better responses from the experts in the news group. So similar concept is what we are going to see in the prompt engineering now in with ChatGPT kind of tools. So what are the components in the prompt we have to see like, okay, there are different components in the prompt, means the question, the context, and some particular keyword, and what is the input content and what is the output. There are 4 components in the prompt. Okay, so we'll see like how we can best utilize the prompts. Okay, so you say, right, like in Chat GPT, you say, for example, you say, develop, can you give me a program to compute matrix multiplication of 2 matrices, right? You just give that. What it does, it gives in some random language, correct? It does not know like what language you are asking for, what programming language you're asking for. It might even just give an algorithm also, right? ChatGPT can give just an algorithm also to compute the matrix multiplication of 2 matrices, correct? You don't even define like what is the size of the matrix, anything like that. Okay, but if you fine tune your prompt in such a way that you say, provide me a program, provide me a C program, or provide me a Java program to compute matrix multiplication of 2 matrices. If you give that, then it gives you a better output, correct? it gives you a Java program to compute matrix multiplication of two matrices, correct? So that is what fine tuning. So how you fine tune your prompt, based on that, you get better responses. Or else it's like, see, in Google search also we do the same thing, right? If you do just like same thing in a Google search, what it does, it throws you a lot of results, correct? Which is like uh, it may be relevant for you. Some of them may not be a relevant result to you, correct? So we score through all the results and then see like which page has a better response or code or example for us, correct? But in case, if you fine tune your Google search query in such a way that Java plus program plus matrix plus multiplication, if you give like that, then it searches the whole sentence of Java program for matrix multiplication together. If you just give plain text Java program space program, what it will do is it will take in as a token. So token is nothing but a collection of letters. Okay. So token is nothing but a collection of letters. So what it will do, it will search Java separately, program separately, matrix separately, multiplication separately. So you can even get like something like a Java documentation also as a first result. Okay. So it's all like based on how the search algorithm works. So similarly, in a prompt, like a chat GPT kind of tool, how you fine tune your search query or prompt, based on that, you get a better response. So we'll see like how you can use it in a better way and fine tune your prompts accordingly so that you get better results and you do not waste your time, right? Because see, the developer's time is very crucial. We cannot spend too much time on searching the internet for some solution, right? So we have to be very smart enough to fine tune our search queries as well, right? And see, human brain cannot remember everything. Okay, so nobody expects these days like you know like what is this function does, what are the functions available. Nobody has that. Nobody tries to remember those things, and it is a waste of time. Why I have to remember what are the functions available, like a square root, max functions or library functions? Nobody wants that. They want you how to use those modules or libraries and develop some solutions for the problems you are facing in the enterprise world. So you have to be very smart enough to fine tune your search queries also so that you get better responses. So in this one, if you see like the common coding task or the development teams does this, one thing is about documentation of the code. See, I give you a code which is say like 10, 15 files of source code. What you will understand out of that? You may not know. It looks like a Greek and Latin for you, right? Though you know the programming language, say for example, Java or Python, you know Python. But I just give a source code which is having some 15, 20 files without any line of documentation. What this function does, what this class does, what this program does. If I have not even written a documentation, it is going to be a nightmare for you, right? Suppose you want to fix a bug or a problem in that particular code, it is going to be very difficult, right? So in that way, documentation is very important in the development cycle. But it is a very tedious task as well. So which majority of the developers doesn't want to do. Documentation, they don't want to do. Okay, so with this advent of these tools like ChatGPT and other development environments, the documentations has become automatic. You just feed the code. Okay, and there are tools which will generate the documentation for the code you have written. Okay, so how it does is like it will read the keywords. Say for example in Java, you have say public void or private void. For example, is a function return type, and what is the scope of the function. So it knows the name, function name, and the parenthesis starts. It knows it's a function name. It then reads what are the parameters for the function. So it generates input is this thing, for example, variable A and variable B, like that. And what type of data type it is? It is an integer, it is a float, it is a double, it will read that. So it generates a documentation in such a way for your function. What is the input parameters and what is the output type and what this function does. Correct? So that is good enough, right? See, I have a function which is say matrix multiplication, which takes two matrix arrays as input and gives me an output array which contains a matrix multiplication done for the two arrays. Okay. So that is going to be the output, for example. So somebody who sees that documentation can easily understand what this function is going to do and what are the input you have to give and what is output you can expect out of that. Okay. So that we can call it as an API. Nowadays, you call it as an API, correct? Instead of function name, you call it as API, which is nothing but application programming interface. So for example, like you want to write a code documentation, you want the chat GPT to generate the documentation for you. You can write a prompt something like this. Summarize the main points of the following documentation to provide a quick overview of the code base. Okay, there is a, you just, after this prompt, you just paste a code within some delimiters. I'll talk about the delimiters in the next part of the session. So if you give like that and you give this particular prompt, it will give you a nice documentation of the particular code base, which is very useful for the developer. Okay, so this is not like how a normal user uses, but the developer has to use it in a better way, in a smarter way. Okay, this is one thing. The next thing is bug reports. But there are, see, in the software world, without bugs, there is no work, right? So, see, if you see like all the products, all the solutions will somehow or the other have bugs. Because, see, it's all done by humans, right? And even machines can make mistakes. If you give a wrong input, it will give you a wrong output. So, machines also can bound to make mistakes. Because it all depends on how you give the data to the machine and how it generates output. Because see, all the programming languages works on a particular set of rules and conditions. So if you don't follow them properly, the development steps, you will end up in bugs. And if you understand the requirements wrongly and you develop a program and the input expected is something, so then the output comes erroneous. So bugs are inevitable in software development. Okay, so what happens is customers, right, or the customers or the operations people submit bug reports to the development team. And it's the job of the developer to go through the bugs and see like what was the problem, what was the issue observed by the customer or the operations team when they're using the software. And that is going to be a tedious task. Like you have to go through multiple log files to understand what that bug is all about. Log files is nothing but the program output will be written into a particular file when it is getting executed. So that's how you can track what is happening in the system with the particular application when things are being done. Say, for example, you are giving an input, right, in a web page in your student information system or college website. You are giving your input, username as an email ID and the password, whatever being given to you. Suppose you are given a right password and you are given the right username, but still you get an error saying you are not able to log in, you are not authenticated, right? Some error is coming. So you will be baffled, correct? Like why this problem? My password is correct, my username is correct. Why it is not working? Probably your account would have been disabled. You don't, right? Okay, this is an example of a bug, like what I'm saying. So you report this problem to the developer. The developer says, okay, you are given a right password, you are given the right username, but why it's not working, right? So you need to understand, correct? So that's like that. So if you see the prompt, like, no, summarize the common issues reported in the following bug reports to identify the main problems. If you give like specifically this kind of prompt to the chat GPT systems, it will give you a better analysis about the bug, right? So that's how like you can improve. The next thing is research papers. Developers has to understand the latest technologies and trends in the IT industry. So you need to go through some research papers. What are the latest research papers on the new topics and the technologies? So reading research papers takes a lot of time to understand that information, right? It will be pages like minimum 5 pages to 10 pages, some of the research papers. And you may not have enough time to go through the complete paper at one shot. So what you can do is you can feed the information to the tools like ChatGPT and say like, give me a summary. Like, no, how you give a summary for the book. There are now websites which call, for example, something called goodreads.com is a good website where you can get summary of the different books in different genres. Okay, so you can give like, you can understand like what are the review comments and what is the summary of that book. So based on that, you can decide upon whether you want to read the complete book or not. So you can get the gist of like the particular book, right? Similar to that, you can give appropriate prompt to the ChatGPT tools in such a way like you give the summary. See, if you see this prompt, for example, provide a summary of the key findings and technology. See, there are some particular keywords, right? Like findings, summary. So that and all that words will be understood by the prompt tools like ChatGPT and give you a better response for the particular prompt query. Okay. Next is change logs. Change logs is nothing but different versions, right? See, for example, we have Windows 10, Windows 11, August 2016, August 2020. Like that, there are different versions of software products being released. So what are the changes? Okay, what is the difference between JDK 1.7 and JDK 1.10? There will be some changes, correct? So they will be listed in a file called changelog. If you see the software packages, generally when we package software to the customers or outside world, we give a file called changelog. So which has some list of features which has been added to the product, or list of the bug fixes which have been done for the particular product. Because or else how the customers will know what has been fixed in this release, right? So you need to know, because if this changelog file may go into pages also, depends on how many bugs have been fixed, how many features have been added to the particular product. So you can give a prompt something like, say, like summarize the key changes in the following changelog of version 1.12. For example, in this case, we are given version 1.2.2, 1.1.2. Similarly, if you give a prompt in such a way, you give the specific version number and then give that particular even a software product like JDK, then you can go and search the information from the net or whatever the data it has been trained, and it can find you the summary of the changes between JDK 1.7 and JDK 1.10. Okay, like that, we need to fine tune our prompt queries. Okay, the next thing is email threads. Generally, the email threads, right, in the software industry or in the IT world, there will be a lot of thousands of emails or hundreds of emails every day coming to you. Some of them will be like, no, from the operations team, and some of them will be from the monitoring teams, which will be monitoring the application. Something has crashed, something is being crossed the threshold, some monitoring. There are different mails will be coming onto your inbox. So you cannot go and read all the emails at one shot. In case you want to get the summary of a discussion, a particular email thread discussion, which you are having with your development team or the manager, you can feed the information and give a prompt in such a way like summarize the main points of this particular discussion thread, and it will read through that and analyze it and gives you a gist of the discussion points, so that you need not go through the complete email thread. Okay, these are all some common tasks which we use in the software development. Okay, there is next thing is called text classification. Okay, this is very important in the case of like, no, you would have heard of something called sentiment analysis. Okay, what is sentiment analysis? See, nowadays we are all using all the e-commerce websites like Amazon, Flipkart, Mintra. There are a lot of sites, right? And you can see like you are searching for a particular product. Say, for example, you are searching for a particular laptop or a mobile phone. So what do you see is you go and see the reviews, correct? So first of all, we see the reviews, whether the product is good or what are the pros and cons of a particular product, and other review comments by different people. So some of them say, yeah, this phone is very good. The battery life is good, and it does not slag. It is fast enough. Some of them say, no, it's very slow, and it is getting eating too much. So people give different reviews, right? You have a rating of say 4 star, 3.9 and star. How this rates are following to you? Is it my connection is fine, Dr. Mani?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
because
sir.
I saw a prompt in my screen saying internet connection is unstable, so just wanted to check. Okay, so okay, we have some more time. Like okay, I'll do fast. So sentiment analysis is nothing but like positive and negative comments. Okay, there are, as I told, like there are some people give positive comments about the product, some people give negative comments. Okay, so in the case of developer, this can be a useful tool to gauge the feedback about an application. See, for example, in Google Play Store, people give feedback about the particular application they have installed on their phone, correct? So that's how the developers can understand what kind of problems the customers are facing or the end users are facing. So in that way, it is very useful. So if you see in this particular sample prompts, we can say like, can you analyze the customer reviews and tell me if the sentiment is generally positive, negative, or neutral? See, there are hundreds of comments for the Play Store, an application in the Play Store. I cannot have time to go and read and all the comments, right? So I want a summary. So what you do is you copy paste all the comments, what you got into the ChatGPT prompt, but you give this particular sample prompt before that. You say that I'm going to give you some text, which is nothing but comments. But what you do with that comment or the text is you do a sentiment analysis of the particular text I'm giving. So what it will do is it will do the processing, that is called natural language processing, and does a sentiment analysis and gives you what are all positive feedback, what are all negative feedback, and what are all neutral feedback. The positive feedback could be from the keywords like good, better, okay, like that, nice. These are all some positive keywords. So it will take those terms as positive comments. And what are the negative comments? No, the performance is bad, it's slow, it crashed, all those keywords being negative comments. So like that, it can summarize and give you a list of positive comments and list of negative comments. So that will be useful for the developer to decide upon, okay, there are more positive comments means, okay, the product is good as less bugs, but there are still some negative comments are there. So we need to look into that specifically. So he doesn't need to go into the positive comments, but he can focus upon the negative comments. Okay, something like that. Okay, next thing is recommendations. See, we see like right nowadays you go to the streaming websites like OTT platforms, you can see like when you go and see, you will be prompted to, suppose you are like comedy movies, you like thriller movies, all those things, whatever you have watched before will come as a recommendation to you, right? You will see the top below some movies recommended from the list, what you have seen before. So that is called some kind of campaign called recommendation systems we call. Okay. So even ChatGPT like thing can give you some better recommendation. Okay. So in this case, if you see the prompt, the following code snippet is throwing a null pointer exception when I try to call a method. Okay. This is a problem which the developer is facing. So see how the developer is posting his query. Can you identify, sorry, can you help identify the potential cause and suggest a fix? Right? See, he is asking, he or she is asking the ChatGPT tool to suggest a fix or recommend a solution for the problem. So they have fine-tuned the prompt query in such a way that they are saying what kind of exceptions they are facing, which is a null pointer exception in a particular method of code, and they will give the code snippet below that. So then the ChatGPT tool analyzes it, tries to understand whether referencing a null value in the code, right? So this way, like it is very easy to get a better response, right? Than you trying to debug the code on your own. You are using the ChatGPT tool to do better debugging and give a solution for that. And if you see the next prompt, you're saying, here is a function I wrote to sort a list of integers. I write some sort functions, right? Like quick sort, heap sort, merge sort. He says that, can you recommend any optimizations to make it run faster or more readable? See, in this case, it gives you a better, say, like it will say like which sort you are used. You can go for a better sort, which is merge sort. Like that, it will recommend. Or some of the pointers, if you are using it, it can give some optimization techniques to do that so that you can write better code. Okay. So in all this way, LLM tools are like better, give a better recommendation to the your prompt queries. Okay, that's how you can fine tune your queries. Okay, next is the translation, which is very important nowadays. See, your applications being used across geography, many geographies in the world. You're not like catering only to the English speaking countries. Say, for example, your product is being used or your website or web application is used in European countries where they speak different languages other than English, say Finnish, Dutch, Spanish, and other things. So, how do you change the application code or your website look and feel and all? It's very difficult. See, right now, localization or internationalization is a very time consuming task. But if you do that, your product is more robust and more easily available and easily sellable in different markets of the world. For example, in Japan, they prefer to use Japanese based products only. They don't want English text or English words in their application. So they specifically look for Japanese language in the options or menu options and everything like error messages, everything should be in Japanese. Suppose your application you are not able to do that, then you cannot sell that product in the that particular Japanese market or the world. So you see you're losing business, correct? See, basically, the more you do a localization, the users feels it's very close to their thing, right? See, even if like some of the things if you have in like our own language like Tamil or Telugu, we feel more comfortable, right? Some of the people who are like not comfortable with English, comfortable in using their application. See, tools like ATM has like better languages, correct? So in this case, you can use ChatGPT tools to give you translated text easily than you trying to figure it on your own. Okay, so in this case, if you see like, for the example, the UI text translation, I say that translate the following UI text into French, which is save, exit, file, edit, help option in the menu. Or you can change the documentation, like user manuals, documentations, you can change it to a particular language. You can ask for the ChatGPT to do the translation. Okay. Next is about input of content. Okay. Again, I was telling, right, there was a concept called delimiters. If you can use delimiters so that the tools like ChatGPT can understand your prompt better and give you a better response. So if you see in this example, what we are doing is I'm having an API, application programming interface or library. I wanted to get the key implementation steps from the API from the text below. So, but if I just give a piece of code to that, what it will do is it might read some of these things, it might give some of the unwanted steps also to me. I don't want that. So there are some comments inside the code that does not need to be extracted. So what I do is I do the API documentation text within this delimiters call this, sorry, this double quotes. And within that, I give the documentation. So it gives me a better summary or output for the particular piece of code documentation. So that's how the prompt has to be given. Okay. Next is format. What output format you want? See, nowadays JSON is a very common format which many of the computing systems or applications uses. JSON is nothing but JavaScript object notation they call. So which is nothing but which has some curly braces and colon, those kind of combinations of characters. So you want to write a Python function which takes a list of user objects, but the output should be come in a JSON format. Say, for example, the user ID, username is input. I want the output to be listed in a JSON format. So you want to write a Python function. You can ask ChatGPT tool like to give a prompt like this. Sorry. Create a Python function that takes a list of user objects and returns a JSON object that maps user IDs to names. And format the output. See this keyword, format the output as JSON. So that helps ChatGPT to understand it better and give you a proper output. So this is the output ChatGPT gives to you, which is very useful, right? Then you are writing your own code. It gives you an example usage also how to use it. So that's how we can do better search and get effective output from the tools like ChatGPT. Okay, there are other similar format tools like keywords called table. Here you can see like create a table comparing the syntax, performance, and use case of different programming languages. And you can give a list, say, see this keyword, list the steps to troubleshoot a slow loading web page. There could be multiple reasons. The browser connection could be wrong, something slow because of the internet speed. And see, it also gives you, explain the difference between get and post methods in the Markdown. Markdown is nothing but a documentation kind of thing used in Git-based repositories. Also, you can see like you can give test hierarchy. Means first step is what, next step is what, like that you can give. So for example, I want software development lifecycle steps or phases. It will give you like no requirements gathering, then analyze the requirements. Like that, it will give you an output. Okay, so these are all some of the formats which you can use. Okay, I think we are running short of time. I'll be a little faster. So let's see like what are the best practices which you can use it to get a better output from the ChatGPT tool. So be specific. One option is be specific, like what you want it to do. See, if you see in the example here, see these are all some of the prompts which somebody gives. Optimize the code. What to optimize? What code? Nothing has been given. Just optimize the code means what it will understand. It does not, it will give you some vague output for sure. And you say like we need a function to process transaction. What function? What transaction it does not understand. Instead, if you do a better specific prompt, see this prompt. It's very detailed, right? It's like how you write a question, how they give a question in the question exam paper. So here you see, develop a Python function to parse dates from strings. The function should be able to handle the formats you are giving, what type of date formats you have to give, and what return type it should give, everything you are giving. And you're saying provide a script that demonstrates the function handling at least 3 examples of each format correctly, along with a document. The logic used in the function. If you give such kind of prompts to ChatGPT, it will give you a very detailed, very useful code to you, which you can directly use it in your development. So it's all depends on us, like how you frame the query, search query or the prompt query in such a way that you can better use the tool to give you a better output and you can be productive in it. Okay, so these are all some of the best practices developers follow. Okay, next is acronyms and technical terms. See in this example, if you see, if I just say having DB connection issues, how to fix it? DB is a common term, correct? DB could be ambiguous. It could be different database systems. There are MySQL, PostgreSQL, SQL Server, Oracle. There are tons of databases available in the market. So it does not know like what DB connection you're talking about. Instead, if my search query is in such a way like you are saying I am encountering a connection timeout issue while trying to connect my PostgreSQL database using JDBC, how can I resolve this? Then it understands in a better way. Oh, you are writing a PostgreSQL JDBC code, Java Database Connectivity code to connect your PostgreSQL database. And there you are facing some issues. What all could be? So it will give you a better response saying, check these things, like particular things, like whether the connection string is proper, the port is listening on the database, like that it will give you appropriate responses so that you can solve your problems easily and in a fast manner. And there is something called zero and few shot learning. So zero shot learning is nothing but you provide only one prompt and get the answer you want. Means, as I told, right, you write a detailed prompt and get the answer you want, which is most of the times it will work, but some of the times it does not work. So there is one more thing called few shot learning, which is nothing but you give some smaller data set to it and make the GPT tool to learn from that data set. So it's not like your machine learning models, not like something like that, but in a smaller data set. We'll see an example quickly. So I wanted to get a range of numbers from the range 0 to 1. So I give an input 2, 4, 6, 8. So the output you can see like it is 0, 0 0.33, 0 0.667, 1. A normalized inputs and output. If I give 5, 10, 15, it gives you 0 0.51. So see the prompt. You say generate a function in Python that takes a list of numbers as input and returns a list of normalized numbers. So you give a very specific, you give some input data also, output data also. So you see the output code, what it generates. It gives you the proper code, which will handle all the cases scenarios. See the case where all numbers are same, then also it will handle. So how it is doing that? It's based on the input, what we are providing to the tool, right? So this is an example of few shot learning. Then again, leading question. Leading question is nothing but write a better query. See, if you see like this prompt, whatever you are doing, isn't it true that migrating to a microservices architecture will always improve system scalability? Yes. But see the words, like instead of writing whether migrating to microservices architecture means, it does not know what you mean by that. But you are very specific. You are asking, isn't it true? You are posing like a question, like how you are asking a particular human. You are asking the system or the tool with specific questions. Then it will be able to give you a better example and answer. And if more than that, you can write in such a way like your query as what are the advantages and potential challenges of migrating to a microservices architecture in terms of system scalability. Then it will give you a better examples with like what are the advantages and the disadvantages. Okay, same way, ask for examples and analogies. See, for example, you wanted to understand the term inheritance in object-oriented programming. See how the query is. Explain inheritance that is used in object programming by using an analogy. So what it gives you? See, it says think of inheritance like a family tree where children inherit certain traits and properties from their parents, which is a very common thing, right? Even a common man can understand like what is inheritance from that. So, but the query is what important, like how you ask. Instead of explain inheritance, it does not understand what is the context of that. You see, explain inheritance, it will give you a biological inheritance output like from Mendel's genomics, like tables kind of thing, like it will give you an output. It won't give you the context of the programming, but you have to give in such a way like using object-oriented programming, using an analogy. So like that, we should ask better queries actually. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm done, Dr. Manigantan.
Sir, one small query.
Sure.
Thank you so much, sir. But I have a doubt with how you will be able to do with will I be able to, I'm audible, sir?
Yeah, madam.
With semantic notations, how we will be able to join AI, sir?
No, semantic, I didn't understand.
Semantic
semantic. Okay, semantic.
Yeah.
Yeah, semantic is like, you can use some keywords so that it can understand the semantics of that. Say, I give an example, right? Like, table, list. These are all some keywords you can give like. So, see, what it does is the semantic analysis is done by the tools based on the pre-trained data, what has been given to that. So that's why I say, when I say explain inheritance, if you just give that word, keyword inheritance is a common word. So it can use in a legal term also, it will give you an output like in a legal term. And it might give you from a biological point of view also. But your intention was to get understanding about inheritance in programming, correct? So you should give in such a way those keywords. So explain inheritance in object-oriented programming or in programming, if you give, it will give a better response. So that's how the semantics being changed. So based on the keywords, what we give it to those tools.
Okay, that based on the keywords, what we had already, maybe the few keywords new keywords it will come, it will automatically generate
Yeah,
it.
it will
What you mean to
automatically,
say it?
because it has been fed with lot of pre-trained data, and that's what
Okay,
there is
sir.
a concept I am not able to add it to this.
Okay,
There is
sir.
something called hallucination they call. What
Okay,
is mean
sir.
by hallucination in prompt engineering is nothing but if you
Okay,
don't
sir.
give proper data, you will get misled information, which is
Yes, sir.
wrong, which is not factually correct. So that
Yes,
is
sir.
called hallucination. So that's why they say that fine tune your query to the very possible way, like no, write a better
Okay.
query. If you write a
Okay.
better query, you get a better
Okay.
response. So you can reduce the hallucination
Okay.
because it's all pre-trained data. Okay, because it is not
Yes,
like
sir.
once it has been pre-trained, it is not up to date every time. So that's why
Okay.
they release the versions like no in a very frequent manner, right? Say once in a
Yes,
couple
sir.
of months, they release a
Yes, sir.
new version because the data has
Okay,
would have
sir.
been updated.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Hope
much,
it
sir.
clarified your doubt.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah, good. Actually, Karthik, I have two more questions.
Okay.
One is from the student side and another one from the faculty side.
Okay.
Actually, the student side, that question is actually because of this AI tools, they lost the job. They don't have that much opportunities in that job development field. After that, now they understood. Actually, hereafter, we don't want to be the software developer. We want to be the
Prompt engineer.
AI tools developer. So now
Yeah,
they
right.
have the thought.
See,
They
AI
have the
tools
thought.
development is
Yeah.
again a thing. See, just wanted to give an analogy about this. So, sometime in early 90s, right, computing was not that pervasive in banking systems, correct? So they were
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
using the ledgers. And people had the
Yes.
fear like when computers being computerized, the bank has been computerized, all bank staffs will lose jobs. Did they lose
Right.
jobs?
Yeah.
No, right? Still, banking staffs are there, but the reduced staffs have been reduced. But
Yeah.
you need still the staff who can
Yeah.
operate the banking solutions, and now anyone can use the banking systems. You need not like study these things. You can study any
Yeah.
degree. They give some training, and once you start using that, because of the computing things, right? Because of this computerized. Similar way, the jobs won't be lost. Okay, there is no saying like, but there are some mundane jobs might be lost. Say, for example, the documentation team. Those people might lose jobs because now the tools can generate the documentation or legal terms or legal analysts. Those jobs might be lost, but not all the jobs will be completely lost. Okay, don't believe that one. AI will completely take the it cannot do like, see, that's what I told about hallucination. If you give wrong information, it will give you wrong output. And if you treat that as the right output, you'll be in trouble. Okay, you cannot take everything, whatever ChatGPT gives you is exactly correct. Don't take that. You have to take it always with a pinch of salt. Because whatever the output it generates is based on the pre-trained data. And if your query is wrong, somehow, you will get wrong output and you may not even know that you're doing something wrong. That's the reason you always need to be a subject matter expert in that particular area and then fine tune your query in such a way so that it gives you easy answers. Then just like that, give some query and get some output. Don't believe that one because it forms all the data based on some context it has understood with this pre-trained data. Okay. Yeah. Next question.
Yeah, that from your side, actually, what may be the requirement to become a AI tools developer? Is there
AI
any
tools
specific
developer,
language?
yeah, you can go through those large language models like Llama 2, which is open source. Those things you can go and understand better algorithms, learn better algorithms, machine learning algorithms. So that will help you to become AI tools developer. Okay, there are a lot of algorithms like right machine learning algorithms. You should be an expert in that. Have strong foundation in mathematics and statistics like linear algebra, calculus. These are all very important for to become a AI tools developer or ML expert.
That is correct. That is the student side question. And one
Yeah.
more question from the faculty side. Actually, in the faculty, we want to write a research paper. That is the common thing. Previously, we are writing the research paper, taking more time, and we are spending that much of knowledge. But now by using the AI tools, we can easily write the research paper. But the thing is, if I maybe write the research paper by using that AI tool, now we have that plagiarism checking. The plagiarism with reference of some other paper and plagiarism by AI, like we can get it. So in this one, how we can overcome with that AI tools based plagiarisms?
See, plagiarism cannot be completely. See, why plagiarism first came into picture is because people are copying the content or something from some website or book or whatever, right? So what you can do is you better always review the content which has been generated by the AI tools when you're writing research papers and juggle the words in such a manner, in a way, in here and there, that will help to avoid the plagiarism. But I think nowadays it has become more smart enough to find the context, but so you have to such a way juggle the things in such a manner to avoid getting detected by those AI-based plagiarism tools.
Yeah, that's correct. And I hope all the topics, everything is very much interested. Madam, actually, ma'am.
Yes, sir. We had a wonderful session, and I now request our Professor Shobha Rani ma'am to say a few words.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Thank you for the opportunity. As we have come to the close of this wonderful event, it is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks. First and foremost, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Karthik Dathathri, for making time out of his busy schedule, that too on Sunday, to join us. Your inspiring words and insights into rapidly evolving world of software engineering, IT, OOPS concepts, infrastructure, and AML technologies have been truly enlightened, sir. Your decades of experience shared with us, the clarity and the passion have left a lasting impression on all of us. We are grateful for your contribution and the knowledge you have imparted to us. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to our management, Principal Sir, HOD Madam of ADS Department, Professor of G. Manigantan of ADS Department, whose dedication and hard work made today's event a success. Your effort behind the scenes have been truly commendable. To all our participants and attendants, thank you for your engagement and enthusiasm. It is your presence and participation that add values to these events. Lastly, I would like to thank each and every person who contributed in some way to the smooth running of this particular event, from technical support to logistics. You have ensured that everything ran seamlessly. Once again, thank you, Mr. Karthik sir, and thanks all for being a part of this event. And we look forward to more such enriching sessions. And I'll request Karthik sir, if possible, to drop his mail ID in the chat box, sir. Sir, if you can.
Sure, madam. I'll post my email ID. Okay. I'll also extend a warm thanks to Dr. Manigandan and other organizing committee members of RMK Engineering College for giving me an opportunity to share the knowledge on a Sunday afternoon where other people will be busy. So it's very. I hope it was useful to all of you. And once again, extend my thanks to all of you for providing an opportunity.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Have a
I'll
wonderful Sunday,
sure.
sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll post it in the
okay,
chat
sir.
session.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I'll close the session.
Seconds, you just wait. Let him drop his mail ID.
Yeah, I posted it actually.
Yeah, you talk.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank
Have
you
a nice
so much.
day. Yeah, bye.
Thank you, sir. Wish you the same, sir.
Yeah.